Hey guys, welcome to the den. Now, modern gaming, to me at least, is all good and well. But the thing is, in a lot of cases, I found myself going back to those older consoles just because the golden age of gaming, I mean, come on, it is literally one of the best feelings to complete a game that doesn't have a save state, or for instance, literally doesn't have this over saturated tutorial. And if I'm honest, it does beg the question, are retro games still kind of relevant? Well, there's a console that has recently come out over the last couple of years that I didn't think I'd really get into because a lot of the games and the demographic weren't for me. However, with all that in mind, let's take a look at this because this is something that intrigued me, very much intrigued me. This is what's intrigued me, the EVERCADE. The EVERCADE is one of those consoles that I didn't really think that I'd get into. However, the more I watch people play it, the more I see what's coming out on it, and I'll explain that in a minute, the more I find myself going towards this because it is actually a really good concept and a great piece of technology that inspires you to play the retro classics, and that is what's really intriguing about it. It is something that inspires you to play these old games. So with this thing, you're able to play basically any number of developers' games. So you've got games specifically that Namco made, so there'll be multiple games on that cartridge, or Interplay, for instance, who did Earthworm Jim. That will be on here as well, but along with other games essentially. So I only have 3 of these games, but they are constant releasing games as well. Some of those games, stupidly enough, are actually games made for the Mega Drive later on in its life, like for instance Tanglewood. That was a game that was released over the last couple of years, and even that's got a release on this, which boggles the mind, the fact that that is a Mega Drive game created in the last few years, and yet it's actually got a port onto this as well, in its own form of cartridge no less. And yes, you heard me correctly, they have their own cartridges, so it's a physical media as well. That's still embedded in there. In a world of digital gaming, we get physical media. So the games themselves come in these cases, which are just, can I just say, robust as hell. They are thick, they're really, really robust, and it's beautiful. Now, I own 3 of these. I own, volume 1, 2 and 4. So these are literally all numbered as well on the tops, and as you can see on the spines, I'll let you have a look at them. I have Atari, Namco and Interplay as of this moment, but I do plan on getting more because it's beautiful. Now, on the front of the case, it does show the actual games that come on it and the cartridge format it comes in, and that's what's intriguing because it's literally a retro gamer's dream to have some of these games on a physical media. Fair enough, it's not the official physical media, but it is a physical media, and these ones are just brilliant. Now, you do get some cartridges that have more games on than others, like I think the Interplay one has 6. This one, the Atari one, has 20 in all. So you've got classics like Adventure, Asteroids and stuff like that, and it boggles the mind. But the cartridge is the most intriguing thing to me because there's your cartridge. I mean, it's not massive, not by any means, but you've got the little logo on the back with what game it is. But what's intriguing about this is the fact that these games are actually flush with the console. Now, if you remember correctly, I think the only console that ever did that was the Game Gear and the Lynx, I think? A lot of them were square cartridges, so you couldn't really have anything, but at the back, you just undo that. Now, I have had a few people turn around and say that these cartridges are hard to get out. How? I don't understand, but the thing is, it's one of those. But yeah, that's your cartridge slot in the back, and then you just get your other cartridge and just slot that in the back there, and it's literally flush with the console. It's beautiful, it is brilliant, and I love it to bits. What surprised me more than anything is its build quality. So build quality is a big thing when you're making something like this, because obviously you want it to be robust, you want it to be something you're going to go back to, something that's going to be really, really good to play. And this more than holds that up. I mean, it is the most robust thing. The only thing I have against it is its D-pad can be a little bit squishy for certain games. But that's more to do with, obviously, you can't cater to every game company. Say, for instance, Atari's games where you had a joystick to play these games with. It's not going to work quite as well. But the thing is, yeah, its build quality is pretty much on par. Its buttons and everything are brilliant. The two shoulder buttons you've got there are actually very, very clicky. I love them to bits. Me personally, you've got on the back, or on the bottom, should I say, back, volume, your headphone jack, and also for me, that is a charging port. I've actually put a little charging piece in there. It's actually magnetic, so I can charge it and just clip the thing to it instead. That's what I've done. Essentially making it a wireless charging. A little bit of concept there. A little bit of concept. But yeah, you've got your own switch, and then also this is an intriguing one because it is a TV out. What intrigues me about this is the fact that this has a TV out, but yet Blaze, the people who make this, are actually making a consoleized version of it. Now, I'm guessing the main reason for this is because of the games that are actually multiplayer on this are actually still multiplayer, but you can't play them multiplayer on this. Even if you hook it up to a TV, you can't. So, the consoleized version is the version you will need to actually consoleize it and play multiplayer games on it. And that, the fact that they're forward-thinking, you know what I mean? It's a really, really good thing. And I love that. I love that. I know I have had Blaze consoles before, and some of them are a bit dodgy. There's an Atari one, which looks very cheap, but, you know, that's life, as such is. But the way this one goes, it is a brilliant, brilliant console. Now, you might be thinking, what is my overall thoughts on this? Well, it's one of those scenarios I really didn't think I'd meld with, but I found myself playing this more than my favourite handheld, which at the moment is the Vita. I just can't get my head around how this has dragged me in, and it is one of those consoles. Now, I know a lot of you do have these consoles, and I asked people what they thought of it, and it got overwhelming praise in my view, and I love the fact that it did. I love this console to bits, and the fact that it uses physical media in an age where digital gaming is more prominent than ever. It is one of those scenarios that just boggles the mind. But what I want to know, if you guys do have this, I want to know your comments below, because I want to know what and how you play this thing, because this is something that I absolutely love. I cannot get my head around how good this is. Now, does it have its small problems? Yes, like every other hardware, like every other game, nothing is perfect. And like I said, you'll find that more with the, let's say, Atari games more than anything, where you have to fast run. Like for Centipede. Centipede is a bugger to play on this, just because of this D-pad. It doesn't work quite as well as a joystick did. And that to me is just, not sacrilege, but it can be awkward. It's doable, but it's awkward. But yeah, Overall, it is one of my favourite handhelds and I love it to bits. So I want you guys to comment below, tell me what you think, because this, to me, is the pinnacle of what retro gaming should be at the moment. Especially in handheld form, it's just beautiful. So thanks very much for watching, guys. I hope you appreciate this thing, because I do. In the meantime, guys, like, comment, subscribe, and I shall see you guys in the next video. As always, happy gaming. See you later.